Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Command Labs. Nice to see you all. Hope you are all doing very well. So, today we are going to do a little bit something different. Words. Bleh. So, normally, what I like to do is I go around and I show you some cool command block stuff on Command Labs, and that's pretty much all that is. But this time, we are going to do something different. We're going to go down into this vault here and into my pocket dimension. And we will start in on the new series. Basically, I realized that because I do a bunch of cool stuff, what ends up happening is we skip over all of the basic stuff. In case some of you didn't know, me and B are actually English teachers. So what I'm going to try and do is take our application of what we know as teachers and apply that to command blocks. And we're going to actually go through it in a step-by-step, lesson-by-lesson procedure in the pocket dimension here. So let me go ahead and teleport to my pocket dimension. It's hidden in the vault, and all I have to do is open this. It should teleport us to the pocket dimension. Okay, so here we are in the pocket dimension. Don't tell B about it, it's too green. You might want to break in and find it. First of all, we need to figure out what command blocks are. Obviously, most of you know this, but in the first lesson, we're just going to review the menu here. Kind of look over this, figure out how you use impulse, chain, and repeating. Because some people actually know how to use impulse pretty well, but when it comes to the other ones, they're a little bit confused. So we'll get into some tips and tricks about that. But first of all, even before that, we need to figure out how we can get a command block. Well, quite simply, all you can have to do is type slash give, and for now, we will settle for at, the little ampersand symbol, and we'll do S, which is yourself here. So now we want to type command block. On computer, you can just hit the tab button and it will autofill it for you. That makes it easy. And enter. So there you go, you have a command block. Easy. Okay, so now you can put your commands in it, do everything you want, but the issue that a lot of people run into when they first start doing command blocks is that you type the code in here, everything looks great, and then you find out you put it in the wrong place. And that can really mess things up just on its own. So on computer, on Windows 10, what you can do is hit, it's called M3 button, which is the scroll button. You push the scroll button down, and that gives you the pick block, right? So some people might know that. However, there is another thing that is really good. So let's just type some random stuff in here. And suppose we hit pick block and we move it here, right? Well, it doesn't keep the text. But if we hold control and pick block, notice it gives us another command block down there. Well, now when we set it, we have the command in there still. This has come in handy a lot for me personally, so I know it will be revolutionary for most of you as well. Anyway, so that is the pick block option for Windows 10. However, in my personal research, I've come upon that it is very difficult to get a straight answer about Xbox, PlayStation, those kind of platforms, how to use the pick block option. And ultimately, the short answer is go to help or options, something along the lines of that. It might even say something like keyboard and mouse or controller, something like this here. And when you scroll down, you should find something that says pick block. So in here, I'm not quite sure where it is, but aha, there it is, pick block. Right, so on all of those, it will say pick block, and you, of course, can just click on it and change it. Maybe I want to make it Y for whatever reason, I have no idea. And then you could just reset it. Oop, that was not the right button to reset it. There we go. That's better. And that should be Perfect. However you guys want to set that would be great. Okay, so let's look at the command block menu now. So of course there's 3 different types. They actually do very different things that are really helpful in the long run. Okay, so we have something here called the hover note. This is the same in all of the command blocks. The hover note can be very helpful. I personally don't use the hover note too much. Hover note means you give it a name here. You type in something. The note can be this many characters long. It's pretty short, but when you look at it, it will give you the name tag above it, which tells you something about the command block, which is really nice to have. So that, once again, is the same for all command blocks. Secondarily, there is a little tag here, a little toggle. This is pretty nice. There's a glitch in this one, though. Down here, it'll give you the block type, condition, and redstone. But the block type sometimes for these other ones, depending upon what block you block picked to get it to copy. Like if I say so if I did this one, set it down, and then I change it to repeating, always active, toggle this, it will only give me the block type impulse, because that was the previous input there. Until I actually try and do a command, then it will change it to repeating. So that's normal. It's just, just standard processing, that's all. So anyway, let's continue to the next part here. So the command input, obviously, I'm pretty sure we all know the commands go there. That's all that goes there. And you have a little guide here down underneath it. It says at, S at, P at R, at A, at E. These are the target selectors. We'll get into those later in the other lessons. But for now, suffice it to say these are target selectors. They let you target what player or what entity you are trying to select. Okay, now block type. Obviously, this is block type. It can be impulse, chain, or repeating. These are our 3 options here. And condition. So this one gets a little bit more interesting. We obviously have 2 options here, conditional and unconditional. So let's say we have a setup like this. 1 impulse block and 1 chain block. Sometimes you'll see chain blocks that have conditional on them. Now conditional means that this command in the chain block will only fire, it will only run if the block directly behind it. You can know if a block is directly behind it because the arrow will be pointing into it. If this impulse block is pointing up like this, when we power this, it is not sending the next pulse into the chain block. It's sending it above it. So then we would have to do it like this, like that. Another thing to note is that if you have a setup that's like this, and the chain command block is set like that, the chain command block that is conditional will not execute its command, no matter what happens. It will never execute its command. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part. Oh, another thing to note. It's not a big note, but this here, if you want to quickly notice if a command block is conditional or unconditional without having to open the UI, all you have to do is look at the texture on the side of it. So this here, it has a flat bottom, but notice when I change it to conditional, it goes up. So we see that one is conditional. Just a side note, not really important, but anyway, there's that one. Okay. So now redstone, obviously, this means if it needs redstone or if it's always active. So always active will not work for an impulse command block. Always active is the default state. We always need it to be always active on a chain command block. And a repeating command block can either be needs redstone or always active. But these two are pretty much toggle locked. You need to have needs redstone on impulse and always active on chain. All right, to the next one. Okay, so with a impulse block, we can set a delay in ticks. So delay in ticks is the amount of time in ticks before the command will fire, before it will do its thing. So there are 20 ticks in 1 second. So if we do this, then the command will fire in 1 second. There it is. Took 1 second to fire. However, if we multiply that by 5, obviously you're going to get 100. So then this is going to execute in 5 seconds after I power it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there it is. Hello. Okay. So that's delay in ticks. Okay, that's pretty much it for the impulse. Let's go into some more specifics on, not this one, but the repeating command block. So on the repeating command block, there's a few other discrepancies, little differences with this one. We have this toggleable thing called execute on first tick. What this means is because a repeating command block can execute its command again and again and again when we hit always active, this means that we have to figure out, okay, when this is turned on, either when it has a redstone block next to it and it keeps on firing, or when I exit the UI, the menu here, then does it say the command when I first exit the UI, or does it wait and wait until the seconds have passed? Let's do 2 seconds. Okay, so for example, let's put the same command in this one and watch how this functions. So the execute on first tick is turned off. That means it will wait 2 seconds until it fires the command. There it is. Okay, so there's one hello up there now. So if we hit execute on first tick, now when I exit this menu, it will start running its command chain once again. So we should get one more hello up in the left corner. And then it will wait. All right, let's do it with a needs redstone because it was already running, it looked like. So let's do this. Okay. So now, let's break this one. Okay. So now, when I fire this, what it should do is tell us hello, and then wait 2 seconds and tell us hello again. See? And it will continue to tell us hello every 2 seconds. Because 40 ticks is 2 seconds. And that's pretty much it. That's everything to learn. Okay, that's going to be it for the first episode in this series of Command Labs. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. And if there is any command specifically that you all were confused about in the past, please let me know. That way I can cover it in the next lesson. Really, we can do these lessons out of order. We are just going to cover each command incrementally, and that's pretty much it. We're just going to learn commands for this series. Just a random side note as well, we had made a couple of songs actually for the CapMB server, Spekiverse, so we are going to release those pretty soon, just as a standalone video. So we look forward to that, and thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and that's it. Scoparnicus out.